Hello, comic book community. My name is Joe, and this is 360 Comics. Over the weekend, I traveled just across the bridge from Philadelphia down to Deptford, New Jersey to attend a small comic show that was packed with some great books, and I came home with a pretty nice haul that I'm going to show you today. Before we dive in, here's your reminder to head on over to Instagram and enter our 6,000 follower giveaway for these two Warlock Key issues. Now, as of the time of recording, we are less than 100 followers away from our goal, so it's gonna be ending soon. Don't miss out. This comic show was unlike any I have ever been to before, mainly because it was only two dealers in a small conference room in a hotel, and apparently these guys get together and do this show every year around this time before con season kicks in to get rid of some of their excess backstock, I guess books that they have a ton of copies of, as well as their dollar bins and filler issues and stuff like that. So most of the room was in fact dollar bins, and I've got a great video coming for that, but I got over a long box full of dollar bin stuff, so it's taking me a while to get sorted. Stay tuned for that. All the books in this video are $5 and up, and in all honesty, most of them were $5, so I'm going to let you know when I paid more than $5 for a book, and there's only a few of them. Of course, at the end of the video, we'll talk about the financial aspect of that, how much I paid in total, how much I think things are worth on an optimistic level and on a more conservative level. So stick around for that, and let's get started. This time around, I've got it sorted by publisher, so let's kick things off with the Marvel books, and what better way to start it than Amazing Spider-Man. We've got issue 201 here, and it has a classic John Romita cover featuring Spider-Man and the Punisher. Now, this book is actually listed on Key Collector. I did not realize that until after I bought it, but due to the cover being iconic, it is listed on Key Collector for that reason. Totally a cover buy, but this is one for the personal collection that I did not have a copy of yet, so I'm stoked to pick it up for just $5. Next up, we've got Web of Spider-Man number 100, and anytime I can get this book in a high grade for $5 or less, I grab it. It's got this cool foil cover, very 90s, and it's the first appearance of the spider armor featured on the front. Now, you got to be careful. You got to look for these. There are some rare ones that have either shifted or other issues with the foiling. This is not one of them. This is just a standard version. But these kind of sell for like $10 all day in a high grade. So, like I said, $5 or less, I'm going to grab it. And this one was just $5. Here's another $5 nice key issue. Here we got X-Men 148, first appearance of Caliban. It's a newsstand copy, and it's pretty high grade. It's not like 9.0 plus high, but it's probably in the 8s somewhere. And, you know, X-Men are coming. Who knows what other characters are going to come along. This might actually replace my personal collection copy because it might be a nicer grade for just $5. Couldn't pass that one up. Same thing with these next two. These next two, honestly, might grab that 9.8. I got to look them over a little bit more closely, but we've got X-Men 283, the first full appearance of Bishop, and a second copy of the same book. I was very surprised to see this book in the $5 bin. Bishop's been hot. His first cameo appearance, which it is his first cover appearance as well, so people do gravitate to that book over this one. Just the previous issue, 282. This one is still like a book that is a little bit left behind in value. Typically, I see it for $10 to $15, but for $5, you know I had to grab it. And another X-Men one here from that same original Uncanny run, 451. This is the first full cover appearance of X-23, Laura Kinney, as well as her first battle with the X-Men. Definitely a Laura Kinney key to pick up if you're looking for this character. And next one, you're going to love this one because I've been picking up a couple copies of this recently, and I have never paid more than $20 for it, and that's what I paid for this copy. The price of this book went sky high last year. High grade Raws were $80, and 9.8s were like nearing 500. At this point, 9.8s have calmed down to like the $200 to $250 range, and I'm picking up high grade raws for $20 all day. I don't know if that's going to last for long, because as X-Men hype builds, so is the the hype around specific villain characters, and this is definitely one with a lot of 90s nostalgia. And of course, we're getting the 90s television show back. Maybe there's a little anticipation for Omega Red in that. I don't really know, but we'll have to wait and find out. To go along with this book that I paid $20 for was this one that I paid $5 for, the second appearance slash full cover appearance of Omega Red, also the first appearance of Maverick, and it's a newsstand. Now, this does have a few spine ticks, but they are pretty small and hard to see on this, really detailed cover. I'm stoked to have this. I don't have a newsstand copy of this, I don't think, so I might hold on to this one. As far as speculation on Omega Red, he's been in my videos recently. I posted the previous book on Instagram as well, so these are things that I am definitely holding on to for the time being. Really surprised to see this book in a $5 bin. Don't think I've ever seen it for that cheap, at least in recent years. We've got Transformers number 2, the second appearance of, the various Transformers, Optimus Prime, Megatron, and this is from the 4-issue limited series that came out before the ongoing series. So they did this first. I guess they said, hey, it's popular enough, we're going to do an ongoing series. They did that with a lot of stuff in the 80s, Wolverine, Punisher, and right here with Transformers. The last couple Marvel books, before we move on to the big batch, which was DC, we got Star Wars number 1. 2 copies of it, really high grade for $5. This is like a standard $10 book all day. Starts off the Star Wars run when they came back to Marvel after being at Dark Horse during the I think the 90s and early 2000s. And just a great book to pick up. Awesome cover, and just one that I always have available at claim sales because Star Wars fans love this stuff. Let's head on over to DC now. If you know much about me and my affinities when it comes to comic book collecting, you know that I'm definitely more of a Marvel guy. But despite that fact, this haul actually has more than twice as much DC stuff as it has Marvel stuff, mainly because a big chunk of Batman stuff that I found in $5 bins and bundled it together for additional savings. So I paid less than $5 a book for some great stuff dating back to the Bronze Age. We've got issue 259 here, a filler issue, but I had to pick it up for my own run. And like I said, I got a nice deal on this bundle, paid about $4 a book. After that, we got issue 260, a Joker cover, and I believe this is an early mention of Arkham Hospital or Arkham Asylum. I think online I saw someone claiming that this is the second time it's mentioned. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, so don't quote me on that. It's not listed on Key Collector, but it definitely could be, because this is around the time they started introducing Arkham Asylum, or as it was called at the time, Arkham Hospital. Then we got 262, and there were 2 copies of this. I didn't mind picking up both because, nice Bronze Age Batman stuff. 268, 270, 281. Again, all filler, but, good stuff for under $5. Then we get to the next one. This next one is a key due to the cover, iconic cover featuring the Riddler. And I looked online. This book typically sells for like between $15 and $25. These copies are kind of in like the mid to mid-high grade, so certainly more than the $4 or so that I paid for it. And like I said, there were 2 copies. Definitely stoked about that, at least keeping one of them. Then we've got number 331, not a key, but then back to another key. Here we got issue 332. This is the first Catwoman solo story. It's in a backup story. She's even on the cover in this little bubble down here. Really cool book to pick up. I definitely like Catwoman as a character, and we're going to see her on the big screen really soon. Next up, we've got number 345. This is the first appearance of Dr. Death, and I believe it I believe it's the first appearance like since the Golden Age. A lot of times they'll signify when a character comes back after the Golden Age, because those Golden Age books generally are unobtainable for most of us in the community, especially the bigger characters, like the first appearance of Riddler and Two-Face. We have the first Silver Age appearance of Riddler and first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face that are more obtainable books. Next, we've got issue number 360, the first appearance of Savage Skull, and I love the cover here, how the skull kind of overlaps exactly with the bat's head in the emblem up there. Really great cover. We got issue 400. I was very surprised to see this one for just $5. A milestone issue that people pick up. Really great cover. I think is it Bill Sienkiewicz? I think, yeah, it is. It is Bill Sienkiewicz. Awesome stuff. Love his artwork. One of my favorites of all time. And just a nice milestone issue, number 400. Very surprised to see this one in there too. 406. One of the Frank Miller books. This is part 3. I think this one is the first appearance of Carmine Falcone. Or is it... I forget. There's a couple first appearances in this run. I can't really remember which is which, but all of these books hold value due to the popularity of the run in general. It's only 4 books, and Frank Miller is a very, very popular writer. Then a couple issues later, we've got issue 409, the origin story of Jason Todd. This is a book I always pick up for $5 or less. Pretty good key issue to have, a nice Jason Todd key, and it sells for about $10. There wasn't just 1 or 2 or 3, there was 4 copies of that. Stoked to have them. Definitely going to be available in some claim sales, and they're all real nice looking high grade copies. We've got a couple issues later with 410, or actually the very next issue. This is the origin story of Two-Face. So back to back, we've got a Jason Todd origin story and then a Two-Face origin story. And there wasn't just 1, there were 2 copies. Then, man, I was really surprised to see this one. You do not see books from this run for $5 or less ever. We got Batman 429, the 4th and final book of the Death in the Family run, featuring the death of Jason Todd. Not in this book, but in that run, the issue before. This capped things off and just has a really great Joker cover. This is another 4-issue run of Batman that a lot of people seek out and collect. So all of the books in the run have some significant value, not just the specific keys. Next, a book that I've seen a couple times for cheap, and I don't know why this one goes for so cheap, but it's Robin 126, the first appearance of Stephanie Brown as Robin, and I didn't just get 1 or 2, I got 3 high-grade copies for, again, less than $5 a book. That was in the same bundle as the Batman stuff, and I'm stoked about that. Now we're going to go back to $5 stuff. These were all less, but, got some more DC here for you. We've got Green Lantern 50, and I believe this is the first full appearance of Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern. I believe that's the significance of this book. I'm not super big on DC or Green Lantern or anything, but you hear about these books. So yeah, I got 2 copies of that, $5 a piece, and then the first cover appearance of Kyle Rayner. This book I know is definitely worth more than $5. These were great pickups, and so was this Green Lantern. The Death of Hal Jordan. Really cool embossed cover. It's foil. It's very 90s. And always look out for the DC Universe version of not just this book, but also the couple previous. Those are sought out by collectors and a little bit more rare than the other printings. Now, I couldn't believe this next book was in a $5 bin, especially with the character coming to the screen soon. And I'm hearing it's a feature-length film now. It's not just a television show. We've got Infinite Crisis number 3, the first appearance of Jaime Reyes, who becomes Blue Beetle in issue number 5. Now, he's only seen as his alter ego in this book, so number 5 is the one that holds more of the value, but nonetheless, as far as this run goes, this is the second best book in the run value-wise, and I actually picked up number 5 recently, so it's really good to go along with it. There wasn't just 1 copy, but there are 2, and they're both high grade. Couldn't really understand that. Maybe, that dealer specifically didn't know what he had, or maybe he just had a ton of them and was ready to, ship some for a little bit cheaper. I guess that could be the case. Very stoked about this next one. A character that I grew up with on the television show Static Shock. We've got Static number 2, the second appearance of Static. Number 1 has grown tremendously in value, and this has kind of been lifted up. It's going for like between $10 and $15 right now. I've even seen some copies, people trying to get $20 out of it, but either way, paying $5 for a Static number 2, definitely okay with that one. And then we got Deathstroke the Terminator number 1. Again, a $5 pickup. That's it for the DC. And you know what? I'm just going to keep rolling because there are only 2 indie books. I spent $10 on these next 2 books, not $5. And I couldn't believe it because I have not seen this book for $10 in quite a few years. We've got Spawn number 9, the first appearance of Angela. And one of these is like a super high grade copy. In fact, I might end up sending it in. The other one is, it's high grade still, but it's definitely got some noticeable issues. It's probably a 9.0 plus, but I don't think it's going to get the 9.8. Like I said, we got 2 of them here. This book crept over $10 a couple years ago, and I've really never seen it for less. Usually I'm seeing it for like between $15 and $25, depending on the condition. I know 9.8s got up to like $300 at one point, but they've definitely calmed down a bunch, probably more in the $175 to $200 range. People are anticipating this character possibly coming to the MCU, as am I. She's been in my spec videos before, because she is Thor's half-sister. Marvel does own the rights now. You might be noticing this is an Image book, and I'm talking about the MCU. Well, this was a collaborative effort between Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane that went to court, and there was some big legal issues over the rights of this character. Neil Gaiman eventually won and took the character to Marvel, and she was used in Age of Ultron. She makes her first cameo appearance, and she's in some other books as well, including a couple of her own solo books. So the number ones, especially from the first solo book, as well as her first full appearance in Marvel and first cameo appearance in Marvel, are all books that I love to pick up. Really stoked to get these for $10. And definitely, if you're hunting this book, look out for that newsstand copy. That is much, much rarer and much more expensive, especially if you can get that glorious 9.8. All right, so now it's time to talk about the cost and values of this haul. If you were counting up along the way, you saw mostly $4 and $5 books, a couple for $10, and this guy right here for $20, and it all came up to about $225. Now, most of these books, like I said, I'll be able to double my money on, and a lot of them I might even be able to triple or quadruple my money on. So I think a high estimated value is probably about $650 for this whole haul. Now, of course, that is an optimistic market value analysis of the price of these books. Like I always say, you often can't sell it for the full amount, and you won't be able to sell everything. So I'm going to kind of put it as a firm double up on, a more conservative estimate. I spent $225. I think I could pretty easily get $450 for all this stuff. There's a lot of key issues, and even the few things that aren't keys are stuff that people seek after. It really was only Batman stuff that wasn't key issues, and of course, people definitely collect that Bronze Age era of the Batman run, especially because it's more affordable than going back into the Silver Age and stuff like that. Definitely some of these books I'm going to be holding on to, whether for personal collection or a spec book like this, but a good amount of these will be available in claim sales, future conventions, flea markets, and stuff like that. So if you're interested, let me know. And of course, I'm going to be selling on Whatnot soon. I just announced it the other day that I was approved for Whatnot. I just applied a week ago. I heard back very quickly, and I was excited about that. So stay tuned. I'm definitely going to be announcing a sale on Whatnot probably in the next week or two. I just got to get things situated and kind of figure out how to use the interface, and then I will be up and running with that. So stay tuned. Make sure you go follow me over on Whatnot. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and comment as always. Let me know what you think about these books. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.